Costa Serena is one of the world's most spectacular cruise ships. Famous throughout Europe, she is part of an award-winning green fleet. She's longer than the London Bridge, her decks cover more space than 20 football fields, and she can carry almost 3,800 passengers on each cruise. The 1,000 crew members, all of whom spend most of their lives at sea, are pushing hard to maintain the grueling pace.
Pack your bags and go.
Their way or the highway, as we say in the United States.
We work here, but we live here.
This cruise, the crew will face some unexpected challenges. New shows, wild guests,
No, stop.
technical malfunctions, medical emergencies, and rough seas will test this team to the max.
This is the job.
It's magic and mayhem on board the Costa Serena. This is cruise ship life as never seen before. The next few weeks will test this floating city's mettle and will reveal exactly what it's like to live and work on one of the ocean's true giants. This is Cruise Ship Diaries.
Go guys, go.
The Costa Serena is due to leave the port of Venice shortly. It's no small feat embarking 3,800 passengers and their belongings. Unlike an international flight, this 7-day Mediterranean cruise has no weight restrictions on baggage. This means the crew can load more than 100 tons of luggage every week. On board, the 14 guest decks and over 20 entertainment areas are almost ready for action. For many cruisers, the destinations are irrelevant. It's the Italian experience on board that they've signed up for. The man responsible for sailing the Serena and her passengers safely across the Mediterranean is Captain Giuseppe Russo. Known as the best maneuverer in the world, his skills will be tested as he navigates the giant ship through some of Europe's most challenging waters this cruise. The captain's right-hand man is Attilio Sisa, the new hotel director. He's in charge of all aspects of guest well-being, and the crew know that he isn't afraid of laying down the law.
How many points do we lose because of the cross-contamination? You don't know nothing, my dear.
He'll have no time for nonsense this week. There's a lavish gala night planned, and such formal evenings are a highlight for many cruisers. Dressing up is part of cruise culture. There will also be an extravagant dinner in the formal dining rooms. Supplies for the decadent feast are being loaded, including 7 tons of fine meat cuts, 700 litres of olive oil, and 1,500 litres of red wine. But right now, lunch is the feast at hand. Most guests are now on board, and the Prometeo buffet area is about to open. Covering 4,700 square meters, the massive dining area was designed with the story of Prometheus, the mythological character who stole the sacred fire from Zeus as its central theme. Rob Miltner is feeling the heat.
Way down below.
He is the Assistant Director of Services, and it's his job to control the lunchtime rush. He's only been on board for a few weeks.
For the German corner a little bit later on. I'm brand new, basically wrapping my head around the new responsibilities that I have, the new challenges. We have the butter. We have you have any margarine? No. Have any fat?
Rob grew up on a ranch with his brothers. He's from Florida. Ship life is very different from his experiences at home.
There are days where I feel completely overwhelmed. It's a tremendous amount of pressure on me. I'm used to dealing every day with basically Americans, which was easy being an American myself. Now with the mix of cultures, I'm really getting a chance to learn the different cultures of Europe. Buongiorno, come stai? Bene, bene, bene. Pasta molto bene oggi. Practicing my Italian. I've got a long ways to go. Hey, pizza. But we're ready, right?
Yeah, we're ready, sir.
Okay, salama. Thank you.
Okay.
Excellent. Making sure that we stay prepped with all the backup, just in case we get a big rush, which we will.
The ship hasn't even left the port, but the cruise has most certainly begun. The last guests have boarded, and the Serena is almost ready to leave. But down below, there is a problem with the luggage. Several bags are missing. Paola Olivero, the assistant cruise director, has little time to find them.
Very, very stressful. We have, might be, I don't know, 10 cabins with a piece of luggage that is lost. The passengers complaining quite a lot. Very, very stressful.
Not a great start to the cruise for many guests, who may have to ride out the week with only the clothes they are wearing. The ship must leave in the next 10 minutes, and there's still no sign of the missing luggage. Captain Russo can't leave late today. With strong winds ahead, the ship must leave on time in order to keep up with the scheduled itinerary.
Roger on that. Costa, Serena, standing by, 16, out.
The ship will have to leave without the missing luggage. Christian Coutinho, Captain Russo's second officer, is on standby to pull out of the dock.
I'm a magician.
At least the guest performer has made it in time.
Welcome on board.
Yes, sir.
Margot Martin is a magician famous throughout Italy and will perform on this cruise. He must head straight to the theatre to rehearse with the dancers.
Okay, you can go! Grazie, ciao.
The magic show will take place in the Giove Theatre. Margot usually allows no one to film his rehearsals, but he has made an exception. The performance is just around the corner, and he's more focused on getting the tricks right. Some of the dancers will be assisting in the magic show, among them Heather Gold. She is new to ship life and is slowly starting to settle in.
It was very hectic, like for the first week, 2 weeks. So you didn't really get to feel what ship life is really like. You're just sort of thrown in at the deep end.
I cannot have you in a show with your brains not on the stage.
The moving stage kind of can throw you sometimes.
Being new to the world of magic, Heather will be assisting Margot in some of the more simple tricks. Anna Slepova is from Russia. She's worked on ships for many years. She knows the ins and outs of performing at sea and has worked with Margot before. She will assist him with the more complex tricks. With just days to go before the big performance, the pressure is on. Margot wants to make sure that Heather is comfortable with the props. Mistakes can give his secrets away, but can also be dangerous.
The ship life is very strange.
Tomorrow's catching on, then Izmir, then Turkey.
Heather has made friends with singer Renee Hunter, who's been showing her around.
Oh, I love Renee. She's fabulous. We get on like a house on fire, actually. We have very mutual interests.
There's a bit of a dry spell on the ship at the moment, not one hot man. I mean, I said to Heather, where are they?
There's a bit of naughtiness to Renee.
Last night was a bit dodgy.
So you're after 5 months.
Someone else with a reputation for naughtiness is head of adult entertainment, Bepi de Mekele. He says there's only one thing he likes more than mischief.
Dancing. I like dancing. I start dancing when I have 6 years old.
Bepi danced professionally throughout Italy with a prestigious dance company until a serious leg injury ended his dancing career.
And I cry more or less for 1 month. With my mother close to me. No, don't worry, you start again. But
Bebby now performs 24/7 on board the Costa Serena and has found that ship life has many perks.
The beautiful ladies, why not?
I think everyone presumes everyone is single, really.
If you're single, yeah, no, it's great, I must say. But definitely not passengers, yeah, that's like, no. Don't risk your job because you get caught and you're off immediately, and I don't think you'll ever get work again.
Several cruisers are still hugely upset about their missing luggage. The front office team are doing all they can to track the missing bags. Hopefully, they can have them located and flown to Istanbul, where the ship will dock in a few days' time. The ship's route is mapped by Captain Russo and his officers to limit environmental impact so that the ship can retain her place as one of the world's few award-winning green ships. Captain Russo works with Chief Engineer Francesco Iorio to see how they can trim fuel consumption. On an average cruise, the Serena uses 3,100 litres of fuel per hour and a total of 810 tons per 7-day cruise.
We want to do this.
The projection is to save 70 tons.
Great.
You think that we'll manage?
They assess the route and functioning of the ship to see if there's anywhere they can trim on consumption. But their strategizing is interrupted. Francesco has received an urgent call.
La centrale. Chief Engineer.
The call has come from Attilio up on the pool deck. He has had several complaints from guests. Some want the macrodome open and others want it closed. The macrodome is a 50-ton retractable glass roof that covers the entire pool deck. Right now, it's causing tension. Some guests are too hot and many are too cold. Attilio is hoping that having it half open will solve the problem.
Hopefully it's going to work, otherwise I kill myself.
But I don't know what to do. When it's open, they were cold. When it's closed, they were warm. Now it's half open, somebody's warm, somebody's cold. What do we have to do?
Some guests have just complained that they are now too hot and too cold at the same time. This presents an interesting challenge, but the crew are used to bizarre complaints.
You have funny things also from the comment forms that we read at the end of the cruise. Those are also very funny. And we have a few, we actually collect them and we frame them and we keep them in the office because some of them are absolutely unbelievable. This one is from a few weeks ago and it says, well, it's a German one and it says, too many Italians on board. Huh? Why choosing an Italian cruise line and then complain because we have too many Italians on board?
Ok, Lindsay, perfetta, brava, vai, perfetta, perfetta. Perfetta, perfetta, bravissima.
The captain has decided to head to the pool deck to attend to the macrodome issue firsthand. It very quickly becomes clear that the guests are indeed heating up. The captain has asked that the engineers close the macrodome completely. Guests do not realize that half open, it could be caught by the wind, rip from its rails, and endanger the ship and its passengers. The compromise is to close it, but shut off internal heating. Federica, the cruise director, is also in a hot spot. She's organising the new cruise show, due to be performed on the last night of the cruise.
Passengers love the show. Because they love to see their cabin stewards or their waiter, you know, that they always see at the restaurant on stage singing and performing and dancing. It's a good opportunity for people that don't stand out much to be on stage and perform.
Federica is still short of a few performers. Someone who is very keen to participate is cabin steward Mary Joy from the Philippines.
You know why it's nice to work in the ship? Because when you get up, you have very nice food, bacon, eggs. The most memorable experience for me, of course, is finding my husband on board. It's very hard to find a real man on board. Very hard. Everybody's married, everybody's playing around. We had our baby last year, December 1. It's just that it's so sad that we left our baby for work. And that's the one who makes us feel so sad. The truth in life is that earning money is really very hard. You have to work for it.
Mary Joy will get to earn some extra money by singing in the cruise show.
I'm going to make it beautiful for her. When like this, I miss my baby. Life is different on the ship. It's so different.
The missing luggage has been located, but there is no way to get the luggage to the ship at sea. The best the team can do is to have it brought to Istanbul, where the ship will dock in a few days' time. Down in the ship's hospital on Deck 0, the missing luggage issue has taken an ominous turn. A guest who has recently had a kidney transplant doesn't have his medication. It's thought to be in his missing suitcase. This could be life-threatening. There is no way to access these drugs, and the pharmacy on board doesn't have what the patient needs. The nurses are trying to organize a medicine pickup in Istanbul in case the luggage doesn't make it in time.
Ok, siamo in ritardo noi, va bene. Va bene, va bene.
Margot Martin has to let everyone off for the evening. They have been rehearsing all day, and the dancers still have to fit in a late-night rehearsal for their stage show.
Buon appetito.
After 6 p.m, no crew are allowed in the guest areas unless they have changed into formal clothes. Paola's had a rough day, and with no further duties tonight, has decided to stay in her cabin. For now, the angry guests are someone else's problem. The entertainment team have to make sure guests are enjoying themselves 24/7. Part of the job is to invent interesting games for late-night entertainment. Tonight, it's one of Beppy's personal favourites, Mr. Olympia. It's early morning, and the control room beneath the guest decks is busy. Here, engineers are on duty 24 hours a day. The control room is one of the most secure areas on the ship, and access is highly restricted. Francesco has planned to carry out some engine maintenance this week. One of the turbines must be replaced, and it will take several of his team members to do it once the ship has docked in Istanbul. As the day begins and cruisers enjoy the sunshine on the pool deck, Margot puts the finishing touches to his magic show. Tonight is the big performance, and although the girls have got the hang of the props, there are a few tricks that still need a little work. Margot doesn't want his secrets revealed.
No, stop. Thank you.
Down in the laundry, Attilio is doing an impromptu linen check to ensure that all the table linen is as it should be for the big gala dinner coming up. This laundry washes, dries, and presses thousands of table napkins every cruise.
And they have to check it themselves. I don't have to do this job, okay? You too many people there, instead of dropping the in yourself, because there is a terrible image that we are going to give to the clients around us, okay? And we are not a roasting shop or a cafeteria, so we are not allowed to have pots in the table.
Francesco is on his fuel-saving mission and thinks that dirty water could be the answer. Every day, the ship generates 920 tons of it, black water from the sewerage system and grey water from sinks, showers and the galley. Black water is separated and the solid portion is offloaded at port. The remainder is treated in the water plant and pumped into the ocean with the grey water. To pump the treated water out, the ship must slow down and activate its stabilizers if seas are rough, increasing fuel consumption. By reducing the time it takes to pump the treated water out, Francesco will save a substantial amount of fuel. The captain hopes to save fuel from his side by avoiding strong winds and hugging the coastline closely. If Francesco's calculations are correct, they will save 70 tons of fuel on this cruise. The magic show team has had to vacate the theatre. There is a serious electrical problem with the giant glass chandelier. It's in need of urgent maintenance. It's made of fragile Venetian Murano glass, so the technical team must be cautious. Each light shade is handcrafted. It's a delicate but also priceless piece. There seems to be a bigger problem than a simple short. The bulbs are actually coming loose from the fittings. They may have warped, and the entire chandelier is compromised. A faulty glass light feature this big is a safety risk. This renders the entire theatre out of bounds until they have fixed it. The dancers aren't complaining. They have a lot to discuss and always enjoy some time away from guests in the crew bar where absolutely no cruisers are ever allowed.
We're gonna go out, guys. We're drinking tonight.
I mean, what? Drinking tonight? Good question, tonight.
Sexy night is coming up.
I love sexy night. Up in the disco, on the dance floor.
We get the dancers in the disco, and again, they're dressed in a very sexy way, and they'll put a number together.
Although I have to wear some hideous trousers. I've complained to Lindsay, but she's standing her ground. So can I not get some different trousers? I do not feel sexy. And they're like lace flares, and I have like a black thong underneath, and you can see my bum like, oh, horrible.
Working up to 16 hours a day leaves little room for socializing, so the crew take every opportunity they get. Someone who has almost no time for fun and is thought of as a resident joy killer by many is the safety officer. On this cruise, that's Giovanni Magistro. Known as Signor Serious by some, Giovanni's in charge of the general safety of the ship and everyone on board. It's a weighty responsibility. Lifeboats, all safety mechanisms and equipment including the inflatable life rafts are all his domain. Giovanni tests all safety mechanisms like the watertight doors regularly. He also organizes the generally unpopular crew emergency training drills.
The safety of the ship is very, very, very important. I know sometimes many crew members, tomorrow we have again the training, but I say to everybody, in case of real emergency, we have to help our passengers. We have to know what we have to do and where we have to go.
Marvin, in case of emergency, your duty is...
Giovanni has organized a man overboard drill this week. It's not uncommon for people to mysteriously disappear on cruise ships. Every year, there are cases of people falling overboard, and everything from murder to suicide is investigated. The crew must be ready for an emergency rescue if necessary. The crew are tired and won't be thrilled about another drill, but Giovanni's priority is safety, not popularity. It's been a complex logistical exercise, but the medical team has managed to secure a delivery of kidney transplant medication, which will be picked up in Istanbul. After a number of hours, the chandelier in the theatre has now become a big problem. The captain and Francesco have been called to make some important decisions. The high heat of the light feature has caused the fittings to warp. Each one will have to be replaced, but that will take a while. Nobody has had access to the theatre for most of the afternoon, and the magic show is due to start shortly. They've replaced the dangerously loose fittings and will continue the maintenance when the theatre isn't in use.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a touch of magic, mystery and illusion. Big applause for Martini, witness of Possible!
So far, so good. But offstage, something has gone horribly wrong. A guest has just been found dead in his cabin. Security won't release any details. The senior officers have been alerted.
Patient here, you cannot come inside, sir. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. You have to come out.
Guests will never know. The show must go on, and cruisers are none the wiser. The few senior staff involved will handle everything. The body will be kept in the morgue on Deck Zero until it can be disembarked at the end of the cruise in Venice. In the disco, pulses are racing. Sexy night is about to begin. The dancers warm up outside the nightclub. Heather has managed to get out of wearing the lace tights. She's swapped with Anna, who has no complaints.
You can see us, it's just a guy just waving at me. Look at that.
Sexy night is always well attended by the officers and senior crew. The dancers must slip in unnoticed and head to the dance floor.
What I like to do when you finish work, it's nice to have a little relax, just to go around to see people, talk with people, and just, you know, have a cigarette or a drink, and then after that, after you have downloaded all your stress, then it's better to go to sleep.
Big applause for the operating man, Sexy Hudson!
staff can join guests in the nightclub until 2 a.m. After this, no staff are allowed in guest areas unless they are working. The Costa Serena has docked in Istanbul. Istanbul is one of the most popular destinations for cruisers. They must make the most of their time. The Serena only docks here for 10 hours and must leave at 6 p.m. sharp. It's one of the few days where almost all the guests are off the ship. A good opportunity for the cleaning and maintenance crew to catch up. The engineering team is ready to carry out the turbine replacement. The turbine itself weighs almost 3 tons. The ship's engine room has been specifically designed to include lifts and cranes that enable the engineers to get the massive parts down to the deck below where the engines are housed. There are multiple turbines on board, and these form part of a diesel-electric propulsion system, which is well known for its role in reducing fuel consumption and harmful emissions. Each turbine rotates about 15,000 times per minute. It must be maintained and replaced regularly. Even a tiny chip or crack could cause the entire turbine to shatter, resulting in massive damage to the engine room and anyone nearby. Precision is crucial when it comes to fitting the new turbine and its casing. After spending the majority of the cruise without their luggage, guests missing bags have finally arrived. The medical staff are relieved to receive the transplant medication. The patient will now be free to enjoy what's left of the cruise. With most guests off the ship, it's a good time for Federica and Beppe to rehearse the show that will be performed by the crew as the final highlight of the cruise. The engineers have completed the maintenance. The new turbine and its casing are fitted securely. It will need replacing after about 12,000 running hours. The captain and Francesco have a few hours off and have asked Lara, the tour manager, to give them a private tour of the Grand Bazaar in Istanbul, one of the city's busiest shopping attractions.
Così sta bene.
50% Omar Sharif, 50% Rudolf Lara.
On board, the laundry is extra busy. The lead up to gala night is always hectic. Many guests have sent their evening wear for pressing. Even though most of the missing bags have arrived, there are still a few guests with no formal wear. Fortunately, the front office team are prepared and keep a selection of suits on standby. Preparation for the gala dinner is well underway in the galley. The chefs must be ready to serve tonight's share of the daily 35,000 dishes in just a few hours' time. The dining room is being prepped. Rob is making sure that all the special menus are in place. The captain will be joining guests in the dining room this evening. The captain's cabin is strictly out of bounds to all cruisers and most crew. Raju Kuchalapati, the chief of security, will escort the captain to his photo call.
I'm here to cocktail for the welcome cocktail.
Okay, let's go.
On board, the protection of the captain is taken very seriously. Raju is aware of his location on the ship at all times and is nearby when the captain is with large groups of people.
Buonasera. Oh, Federica, you look great tonight. You all look great. Very nice. Good evening, how are you? You look great.
Open the door, please. Guys, open the door.
Formal evenings are always attended by the captain and a select group of senior officers. It's part of the job. They agree that this week has not been without its challenges, but there is something to celebrate. As the cruise nears its final stop in Dubrovnik, the fuel-saving strategies have worked. The captain and Francesco can already see that by the end of the cruise, they would have reached their goal. The ship is approaching Dubrovnik in Croatia, and the captain and his officers must plan the tendering operations. The ancient port of Dubrovnik is too small for the Serena to dock. The captain will drop anchor just outside the port, and guests will be transported to the dock in tender boats manned by the sailors. Getting almost 3,800 guests ashore is a logistical challenge. Paola and the entertainment team are on standby to facilitate the disembarkation from Deck Zero once the captain has dropped anchor. As the ship nears the port, the 4 specially modified lifeboats are lowered. These tender boats can carry 150 people at a time.
Here! Paola da Beffi.
Everything is prepped, and the sailors at the back of the ship are ready to release the 12-ton anchor. But tendering isn't always straightforward. The anchor has been known to jam. On a recent stop in Dubrovnik, the giant chain would not release. The sailors kept trying, but the chain was stuck. The team cannot begin transferring guests onto the tender boats until the ship is anchored.
Chantal, manda giù anche 8 e 9. 8 e 9 sempre.
Start DG6, start DG6.
With no time to fix the immediate problem, the call was made to use the backup anchor on the other side of the ship. The ship carries 2 anchors for situations like this. The second anchor dropped freely. It's lowered at intervals to prevent the chain from spinning out of control. With the ship safely anchored, Beppe and the team could begin the disembarkation.
Go, 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 go.
Ciao!
Dubrovnik is one of the most prominent tourist destinations on the Adriatic and is part of the UNESCO list of World Heritage Sites. Dubrovnik's most famous features are its walls that run close to 2 kilometers, nearly enclosing the old city. Federica is excited to have learned a surprising secret. She's heard that Signor Serious, Giovanni, loves to sing. She's hoping to persuade him to be the headline act in the cruise show tonight.
Sì, Corrado.
Oh, sono Federica, come stai? Tutto bene? Insomma, se ti farebbe piacere, perché a me...
I don't know, maybe.
Va bene, ciao ciao. Va bene, Corrado, you can go.
He didn't say no. Giovanni has more important concerns and must stay focused. This week's man overboard drill was a good example. Always keen to participate, Christian volunteered to be the victim. Once he's in the water, the drill begins. It's all about timing. If someone were to fall from the ship, they would not survive long out at sea. The medical team must board one of the lifeboats, which is lowered to sea level.
Take a place, please.
The lifeboat is released, and the team must race to the victim.
Ready for pick-up the men on the board. Last ready for pick-up. All the personnel in charge on starboard side. We will pick up the person on the right of the lifeboat.
Once he is in the lifeboat, the medical team stabilize the patient. Giovanni then has to get the rescue vessel back to the ship as quickly as possible so that it can be hoisted up to the receiving deck. Getting the patient onto the ship and down to the hospital is the final stretch of the drill. Giovanni seems satisfied. The entertainment team have finished the disembarkation and have decided to make the most of the sunshine in Dubrovnik.
We are going to our favorite ice cream place. Not only because it's the best ice cream in town, but also because we never pay.
After savouring the delights of Dubrovnik, it's time to head back to the ship to prepare for the cruise show. Mary Joy is trying to finish her cleaning duties early. She must prepare to perform, and the cruise show will begin soon. The Costa Serena is on the move once again. Backstage, excitement is mounting.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Tonight it is something different, something special. It's our crew members. They will dance and sing for you. And for many of them, this is a real dream come true. Enjoy the show.
Just when the crew thought Giovanni had decided against performing, the safety officer comes to the rescue.
Safety officer Giovanni!
Singing his favourite love song, Losing Love.
Voglio restare solo, incognito, volare nel suo cielo. Non chiedere una donna avere voglia di morire. Lasciami vivere per mille case, prende cassa del tutti sogna come vero. Ancora una donna, ma se sei mani del destino, sei molto vicino.
It's been another crazy week on board the Costa Serena. The crew is already preparing for the next 3,800 guests who will board tomorrow, all in search of their own unique experience. This cruise may have been hectic, but it's nothing compared with what's to come.
C'è avuto tango, India.
The crew will soon face everything from celebrities, paparazzi, and a rock concert at sea, to unruly colleagues, some unpleasant surprises, politics, and passion. Next time on Cruise Ship Diaries.